Hi there, hope you're all doing well. This week I wanted to try out a new potential army scheme for a future project, and since the vampires have just started being released by one-page rules, I figured I'm going to use the Vampire Lord mini as the test scheme. He has been black and white zenithally primed, and I get started with Dwarven iron over all of the armor panels. As you can probably tell from the thumbnail though, this armor is not going to be silver in the end. I'm doing a bit of underpainting with metallics and then I will tint it afterwards. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You could also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been working on. To start bringing up the brighter parts of the armor, I used plate armor. This goes over a good chunk of the armor panels, just leaving that darker tone in the shadows. Finishing up the light values on the armor, I grabbed a Mythril blade and went around the edges and parts that would be getting hit by the light the most. Now to tint the armor, I went over all of the armor panels with Caribbean Turquoise from Xpress color. This helps maintain that metallic look of the silver, just keeps that final tint as the color I want. For the parts I want to look gold, I went over with nuclear yellow. This didn't turn out as good as the blue, but it still came out pretty good and it's a good starting point for gold. While the Xpress colours are drying, I went over all of the fabric parts with reddish grey as the base coat. Now for the base and the leather parts, I grabbed Scorched Earth. For the accent color on this scheme, I decided on purple. So for the skin, I added a base color of Amulet purple. Adding a quick highlight to the leather part, I used leather brown. Getting the first highlight on the fabric, I went over all of the raised parts and the edges with warm grey. This is mostly just a scratchy highlight over those edges to add a bit of texture to that large flowing cloak that he has. Pushing the skin a bit more into the desaturated look I want, I added a highlight of Pastel Violet. The last parts to add a base coat to is the hair. For this and the sword I used Black Lotus, which is more of a chromatic black, so it has a clear blue tint to it when it goes on. The hair came out fine, but I'm not 100% sure on the sword. It worked good enough for how it was, but I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it like this for the next scheme. I also dot in the eyes with this, but I don't get that on camera. Finishing off the fabric, I had a brighter highlight over the edges and the tops of the folds with Grimy Grey. Getting the final highlight on the skin, I used Ivory Tusk, which has that sort of pink tint to it. I wanted to push the armor a little bit further, so I grabbed a ray gun glow and went over some of the edges, just to make them pop out that bit more, but still have that shine to them. To get started on the design of the cloak, I base coated it with British Khaki. The first highlight on the design is done with golden brown. I went for a non-metallic style with this, and since I was doing NMM, I just figured I might as well highlight some of the gold parts as well to make them look a bit more, well, gold. For the final highlight on the gold parts, I used sand yellow. Bringing up all of these studs and the edge of the sword, I went back in with plate armor just to make these pop. Now to wash the skin and the hair with purple tone wash. This stained a bit too much for my liking, so I would recommend thinning it down if you are following along. Finishing up the leather and the design on the cloak, I get a wash of Archaic Sepia wash. And that will be it for the Vampire Lord. I just added some muddy ground to the base and a few dead tufts just to finish it off. I like how the armor came out, and I think I would use an airbrush to do this zenithly before. I think that would be a bit faster and easier to do a whole army with this. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You could also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been working on. As always, if you want a closer look at this mini, check out my Instagram page. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Most importantly though, be kind to each other.